So good afternoon. My name is Michael Brown. I'm an assistant professor in the School of Education, and I want to end this faculty research day by talking to you about the other function of the university, right? Our goal of teaching and learning, because that's what my research agenda focuses on. So we do a distinctive thing in American higher education that a lot of other educational organizations don't do. We take hundreds of people and we put them in a classroom and we charge them with the expectation that they are going to learn in that environment. Most other learning environments are much smaller. There's more intimacy between the instructor and the students. And in post-secondary classrooms, especially in introductory courses, because we have limited resources, because we have limited time and limited space, we build on the economies of scale of the large lecture hall. But the challenge with the large lecture hall is that a lot of times instructors don't know what their students are doing. Right? There's a lot of stuff that's going on, even in the classroom, that the instructor can't clearly see because of the scale of the room and the number of students who are in that class. Now, if you think for a second about the best class that you ever took, if you think about the best learning environment that you were in, you probably don't remember feeling isolated. You probably remember connecting to a community of other learners that were able to support your interests, that were able to help you in developing your knowledge and also provide you support and information. You know, if you've ever been in a large lecture class and you've missed class and you don't have any friends in that classroom, it's hard to figure out what you missed. So I've been doing research over the last couple of years about how these classroom learning networks form, what they look like, and what impact they have on student outcomes in large lecture halls. If you teach a course like that, my best guess is that this is probably what is happening in your classroom. That early on, students form lots of connections with lots of different people to try to figure out who they should be working with, who they can connect with, and who they can collaborate with, who they like. That's really important for undergraduate students when they're making determinations about who they're going to connect with in the classroom. But over time, that big connected component that you see there, it's actually so big that at this size you can't see the connections among the nodes. It breaks up. And that makes sense. It's unrealistic for students to have a study group with 35 people in it, right? It's not manageable. There actually aren't rooms on campus where they could meet. And so what happens is students break into these smaller groups over time. But if somebody drops a class, if their peer isn't doing well, all of that breakup in the network can have an impact on students' performance in the classroom. If they have peers that are able to support them and provide them help and guide them, they do better over time. So what I was interested in is when we do engage in this kind of large-scale learning, are students, first of all, able to make connections in equitable ways? Particularly in large introductory science and technology classes at places like Iowa State, women and students of color are severely underrepresented. We know from other research on social network formation that people tend to form relationships with people who are like them. And I've observed the same patterns in our classroom, that women and students of color are much more likely to be excluded from study groups, from peer interactions, and from social and informational support in the classroom. And that has a long-term impact, not just on their interest in the field and their willingness to persist in the major, but a short-term impact on their performance in the classroom. Most of the students that I surveyed and that have participated in my research, they identify, if they are underrepresented in the classroom, they identify that they are providing more emotional and intellectual support to their peers than they're receiving. And that, again, has a net impact on their performance in the end of the class. So what I would like to do at this point in my research is to think through with faculty, as you are developing your pedagogy in these classrooms, how could we be actively engaging students in the class in ways that are more equitable? And I need collaborators to do that. So thank you.